It seems like inflation should be under control, but it's not, and I know why. When you look at the universal playbook for controlling inflation, it says you increase interest rates to slow down the economy. Now, when the economy slows down, inflation will disappear. We did that, but it's not working. The last time we experienced inflation like this was in the 80s. At that time, the national debt was only 31% of GDP. So when interest rates went up, our government could afford to borrow at higher interest rates. In 1992, the inflation crisis was over, and the national debt had ballooned to just 61% of GDP. Now, to give you a reference, anything below 60% of GDP is considered healthy. So in 1992, we were okay. Today, our national debt is 120% of GDP. Not healthy. We've borrowed ourselves into a corner. Now, I'm going to quote John H. Cochran, who wrote this in November of 2021. For higher interest rates to reduce inflation, they must be accompanied by credible and persistent fiscal tightening, either now or later. If the fiscal tightening does not come, higher interest rates will eventually fail to contain inflation. That's us. We are raising interest rates, but without cutting our spending or increasing taxes, and inflation is still a problem. Let's look at those two choices to create fiscal tightening. We either must reduce spending or increase tax receipts. Now, let's be honest. There is no way we can get our representatives to cut spending. Hell, the only spending bill they've passed in a year will give $85 billion to other countries while forcing the sale of TikTok. So option one is out. Congress will only continue to spend more money. Option two is to increase taxes. Now, currently, the U.S. government spends $1.7 trillion more than we take in. So to stop borrowing more money just in 2024, we need $1.7 trillion more in taxes this year. That means every full-time working adult needs to pay an additional $12,700 in taxes this year just so our government can break even. Now, if Congress did that, there would be riots in the streets, so that won't happen. Recently, the International Monetary Fund warned the U.S. government about this issue. Our representatives won't stop spending and won't tax the population the correct amount to match spending. If there is no change in fiscal policy, inflation will get worse. The Fed will go back to the inflation playbook and increase rates further. Here's the problem. The federal government brings in $2.8 trillion in tax receipts, but we are going to head into a recession, so that's not going to increase. In the past 2 years, interest rates have gone up significantly. So the interest payments on federal debt have gone up 68% to $1 trillion. Our debt payment is 37% of our tax receipts right now. Now, based upon the trending data, exactly 1 year from now, the debt payment will be 50% of gross tax receipts. Half the income to the government will go to pay debt. And since we won't change our fiscal behavior, the government will just borrow more money, and that will cause additional inflationary pressures. So it's like a whirlpool. We're on the outside spinning around. We haven't gone under yet, but we definitely cannot escape without a miracle. I wonder what that miracle looks like to save us. Do we pray to God? Write a letter to Santa? Or hope for a scientific breakthrough? Or go back to what you were doing and realize the only thing you can do about this problem is to vote. I do mortgages, so I'll go back to doing loans for people that want to buy homes and doing daily interest rate videos with my dog. In the meantime, we'll see you next video.